What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit a million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome back. It is Shan, and this is Cozy Womb Podcast. Happy Monday. You made it. We are here once again for another week of success. Hello, Mom. Hello, Dad. This is Cozy Womb Podcast. My name is Shan, Mama of the Girls. And this episode, I want to talk about the parents who want their children to have the best, want to send them to the best schools, want them to be in the best neighborhood, want them to always be in the living and the lifestyle of able and ability and opportunities. But most of the time, if you don't work from home or you don't own a business where you can step back and hire somebody to be at that business all the time, you might be that parent that's often away. You might be that parent that works longer hours. You might have a live-in nanny. You might have tutors for your kids. Maybe your career is where you travel a lot, or you work on the road, so your children might be with you, but they have someone who tutors them or does, homeschool with them. So they really don't get you as much as the parent that just works a 9 to 5 and can go to the grocery store with the kids and can go to the park with the kids. Your lifestyle is kind of not the regular, right? So you might end up with a child that might slowly resent the fact that you're never home and you can never come to a game, or you can never just take us to the park, or you're never available to take us to the grocery store like my other friend's mom, or you never have a day off on Saturdays like my friend's dad, and you never take us bike riding, and you've never seen me do this, and you're never here. So the relationship that you sometimes have with your kids is like a passerby relationship where, they're coming in from school and you're headed out, or you're packing for the weekend, and you try to hog that small time to get into their lives. Like, how's your day at school? How's this? What's that? Oh, that's cool. Let me show you what happened to me this week. Kids don't care about that, right? With kids, your time has to be available to them for them to bond. So that's what I want to talk about this episode, is the kids that might have the nice house, might have all the gadgets and things that every kid wants, might go to the best private school, might, have luxurious cars and all of this, but they really don't have a great relationship with their mom or their dad because they're never home. They just know that that's my mom or that's my dad. If I need something, I can text them. If it's an emergency, I call their emergency person. That's more so my parent than them because they're not really around. And sometimes that relationship can backfire depending on the personality of your child. And sometimes your child will grow into understanding that that's just the career that my parents chose, and this is how I am. But let's talk about it. I got a surprise for you guys. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, before we get into today's show, the surprise is another promo this week till the 20th with 15% off your purchase. So whether you shop at Cozy Womb Shop and get merch, is 15% off. Just put in the promo code JUSTBCUZ. All right? Just BCUZ. Just because I just want to go ahead and let y'all get 15% off of all the merch. You can just put that promo code in, get 15% off your hoodies, your sweatshirts, your t-shirts, your mug, kids onesies, whatever on there that you like, you can get 15% off. Even on Mama's Cozy Closet, if you just Google Mama's Cozy Closet, it'll pop up. That's also a part of my shop. You can shop for merch, use the same promo code. What else? What other shop? Who is Shan shop? Same promo code, you can use it. And it's just because BCUZ in all caps. And you'll get your 15% off. All right. If you want to just support the podcast directly, you can hit the link in the show notes, Red Circle. And Red Circle is the platform that I distribute all the shows on different platforms from. It's a free web-based platform for podcasters to go ahead and distribute their show and get good feedback and analytics on where it's going, who's listening, and how they're listening. And you can promote within Red Circle to other podcasters that also use Red Circle. And I just like it. It's a good platform. I've seen great growth there. It's very easy to use, very internet savvy, very quick. You can schedule your shows, and I love it. So if you want to support the show, either way, I appreciate it. But if you see Cozy Womb posted anywhere, retweet it, share it, please. If you see a link, share it with another mom, share it with another dad, share it with grandparents, share it with aunts and uncles, because I just feel like the topics that I have affect millions of people, but not everybody listens to podcasts, and maybe it could be the first for someone or the first for a few people. But either way, I appreciate you guys, and I wanted to give y'all 15% off until the 20th of November. So that's next Monday. So do what you will. Let's get into the show.
Here we go.
Back to the show.
Back to the show.
You're never here, parent. Ooh, all right. So I witnessed a lot of, but you're never here, parents. A lot, just growing up with my mom, because my mom was what you call a jack of all trades, right? So my mom always babysat people's kids. She did seamstress things, sewed for different people, made hats, did upholstery. She's always been a good cook. What else? But the kids that she kept more so were either middle class or a bit more wealthier. So that always equated to their parents being super busy and their kids usually being at my house, or my mom sometimes will go to their house to watch the kids. And then that sometimes led into, if you're here, would you mind organizing this or cleaning up a bit? And a lot of these people's houses will be ridiculous, crazy unorganized. So sometimes my mom will ask me to come by and ask if I can help. Because my thing is, I always loved cleaning since a little girl. That is just like something I love. So I didn't mind helping her while she was watching people's kids to help clean. This one girl that she was watching, she's watching her 2-year-old. the lady's 2-year-old, and the lady was never really home. She was always on the go, doing stuff, working, and she smoked. But the way that the house was set up was her mom's room was on the other side of the house, and it was huge, and it had a huge bathroom, but the whole room smelled like cigarettes, right? And then the girl's room would be on the other side, and then her preteen daughter was on the other side. When I tell you, when I opened her preteen daughter's room to go in, it was as high as half of my body, and I think I was like 13 or 14 at the time. And I'm just like, dog, like, how can you have such a nice house, so big? You have 2 chihuahuas that stink because there was poop randomly throughout the house. You have multiple rooms just filled up with things all over the place, no organization. The bathroom's filthy. You have a 2-year-old. And your preteen daughter is basically living on top of things that you have bought her in trash, and you haven't seen this side of the house to clean it. So when it comes to your never here parent, it's kind of like your kids lose time and room to have a connection with you that they should have with you because you're never around. And sometimes, even if you give your kids the nicest things, even if you live in a nice neighborhood and you have a nice house and you drive a nice car, a lot of that is like a cover up for things not being dealt with at home. And I always tell people this, like, your home is a reflection of what is going on in your life. And I know there's a lot of things about her daughter that is going over her head. Like her preteen daughter is going over her head because she's not paying attention. She doesn't even know that her child cannot find her bed from the door because all this stuff. And it took us like a week and a half to get that house back to like sanity. And I say that because a lot of parents that may work the quote unquote great job and have the great career and have the money, they don't have time to do regular things like regular laundry and cleaning a huge house or maintaining the care for animals that animals are supposed to have. Animals are not supposed to be pooping throughout your house on the floor. They're supposed to be taken out multiple times. She had a pool that she wasn't maintaining. It was just a lot going on. And I'm not going to say that all of the kids that my mom watched, whose parents could afford nice things, wasn't great. I mean, other kids that she watched, they never had that issue. But it was just like, it took a team of a husband and a wife to focus on, okay, we're going to do this with the kids this weekend, or we're going to have this, or we're going to make sure they're into this. And I remember one family, each child had their own different thing that they were doing, and the parents were involved. But at the same time, that takes a team. That takes 2 parents wanting to balance out work, whether they're executives or not, and balancing out time with kids and bonding and taking time off work to do family trips and having the right people around their kids and being involved and knowing their children's personalities for real and teaching every chance they get and just, balancing it out. And I think that's the key to parenting, is balancing it out. Now, when it comes to single parents, I think that can get hard. And even now, if you go on interviews for jobs, they'll ask you, so what do you do in your free time? And that's key for like, what else do you have going on in your life that will possibly keep you from being here? And a lot of people, if you love parenting, you'll mention, oh, I'm a mom or I'm a dad. and I do this with my kids, I do that. And then a lot of jobs of mine, they take it as, okay, so that might be a reason why you'll be out of work more so than the next person. So I need to take that into consideration. And so for single parents, it's rare that that parent is always away. But my mom also did watch a young boy whose dad owned a radio station. And a lot of times, she would have to watch him late night depending on what his dad was doing and what he had going on for events. And sometimes he would be dressed up. And I remember one night he dropped his son off at our house in a limousine. And his son knew more for his age that a normal kid at 5 shouldn't know, because he was around a lot more adults and he was around a lot of his dad's discussions on the phone. And every time his dad would drop them off, he would always be on the phone in conversation with somebody. So for even his dad, owning a radio station and being, a single parent also, I can imagine how that's a lot. And, my family became his son's family in a sense where we knew his personality and we knew a lot of things. And it was just like mind-boggling what would come out of his son's mouth because of just he's not around other kids unless he's at our house. So, that's the thing. And I think even if, let's say, if I was a millionaire and I had multiple businesses and I could send my kids to the nicest schools and I can put my kids in different activities like piano or soccer or football or baseball or whatever it is, I still want to be able to call the shots on my time. I still want to be able to say, hey, I cannot do anything this week. My child has this going on. My other daughter has this going on. I have to be there, or I need to be home, or my child is sick. I want to be the one to take care of my child. I will be out the office. Please reschedule all of my meetings. If you are at a level of life and career where you can do that, it's always worth it for your child and their personality and how they will become adults to go ahead and take that time and spend with your kids. I don't believe in putting a job before my kids at all. Even with this vaccine and this COVID stuff, it's just the president wants to mandate everybody getting this vaccine. But with me working from home, it's kind of like they said we might be going back to the office, but this whole time since
BetMGM has an unreal deal for sports fans in Iowa. Turn $5 into $150 instantly when you place your first wager at BetMGM. Simply download the BetMGM app and sign up using code Hawkeye150. Then, place a $5 wager on any sport. You'll receive $150 in bonus bets, regardless of your wager's outcome. And if you think the fun stops there, the king of sportsbooks has plenty of surprises in store. Check out daily promotions, same-game parlays, live bets, and so much more. No matter your team or your sport, BetMGM is for you. Download the app in Iowa today and get $150 in bonus bets instantly from your first wager. Only at BetMGM. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Iowa only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
last year, it hasn't been necessary for us to go back to the office. But because this Delta variant is becoming a serious issue, now, a mandate of being vaccinated for jobs who have more than 100 employees is enforced. So even with that, I'm just like, because I don't have any problem with anybody that wants to be vaccinated, do your thing. But I just feel like it is still your body, and it is still a personal choice to go ahead and get a vaccine that we just don't know the long-term effects about, right? I don't feel like it's a government position to tell people what to put in their bodies that they would like the decision on, just like abortions. I don't feel like it's a government's business to tell people, shout outs to Texas, that they cannot have abortions if that's their choice and that's their body. Because to me, it's kind of like, if I have this child and I know mentally, emotionally, financially, and physically, I cannot take care of a child, government-wise, are you going to help me raise this child for 18 plus years? And the thing is, you're not. So people who are in positions for whatever reason that want that, I feel like they should have that. So back to these vaccines. If my job tells me I have to be vaccinated in order to work there, they can have their job back. And that's just how I feel, right? I know everybody and every mom and every dad is not in a position to do that, right? But at the same time, I'm never choosing a job that will easily replace me at the bottom, the drop of a hat, over my kids. I'm not going to say, you know what? I know I've been here for 12 hours, but I'm going to go ahead and work 20 hours and my kids are just going to have to deal with it. I'm not that parent, but I know there are parents that will see like, okay, if I go ahead and get this money and I sacrifice this time here at this job, I can do this and this and this for my kid, right? And there's other parents on the flip side. If I sacrifice this time with my kids, I could miss out on something very important that I will never see again. Like, I remember working 2 jobs when Anya was younger, and I missed out on her first steps. And I felt so horrible missing out on her first steps walking, because I was at work working a night job for my corporate job. And in the mornings, I would work my day job and then go from that job to my night job and then come home. So a lot of Anya's smaller years of her crawling and walking and saying first words were a lot of FaceTimes with my mom, a lot of video, a lot of pictures being sent to my phone. And when I came home at night, it was turn up time. Like, she knew I was going to come home at night, and she would just set her sleeping schedule around my work schedule. And I felt so bad, which is why, like, yes, Anya's my first kid, and she has never had a bedtime. Anya didn't get a bedtime for real until she started going to school at like 4 years old. I don't recommend people do that, but the reality was, like, with how I worked and my mom being able to be home with Anya up until she was 3, Anya was really on an adult sleeping schedule and doing things, you know? So the way that she learns is a bit more advanced, I think, because of that. So I just feel like at that time I needed to sacrifice that time at work so I can put myself in a better position to do better for Anya. And I think a lot of parents feel like that. But at the same time, when your child comes to you and says, but you're never here, that hurts. That makes you feel like you're not doing a good job as a parent. So if you feel like you're in a position where you're working a lot of hours because you want to get a house for your kid, or you want to get a better car, you know, because that car keep breaking down. Listen, been there, done that. I did not want a car note, but if a car note gives me a peace of mind and I can count on a vehicle, let's do it. Let's do it, because all of my vehicles, the first 3 vehicles that I had, were owned outright and gave me so many problems to the point where I really didn't do a lot of things with the girls because I couldn't depend on the car. So at some point, you're going to have to pick reliability, ability, and just to be in a position to be able over saying, oh, I own it, but I can't move the car for a month because it's having engine issues. Or I own it and it has a leak somewhere, but I got to take it into the shop. And it's just not, it just became a point where it wasn't worth it for me. So I will say that I sacrificed a bit in order to get to where I am right now. I am in a better position than I was. That's why I tell parents, like, if you're having a hard time at the moment, the best way to get through it is to remember that this hard time is not forever. But I think no matter if you have a great career or you're working a 9 to 5, it is very important to balance out your time with your kids, because you don't get them to be 9 again. You don't get them to be 5 again. You don't get them to be 1 again. You don't get them to ride their bike for the first time and see it. Even Anya, like, learning how to ride her bike for the first time last week. That was amazing to watch. That was amazing to watch her other foot hit the other pedal and her go forward and be able to brake by herself. Like, that person came out of me. You know, that person was a little baby worming across the room on her knees and her stomach, you know what I'm saying? And she's in my face riding a bike. Like, it still blows my mind a little bit. But you don't get those things by working the great job and having the great career and being on the go. And your child is not going to understand why you picked that career over being there. So I'm not telling you to quit your career and be in your child's face. I'm just saying that it's beneficial to find a balance. So find a balance between being in your career. Find a balance between having luxurious things and multiple cars and a nice house and being able to go on vacations, and being around your kid for the fundamentals, being around your kid to help them, do their homework, being around your kid, when they're sick, instead of having a nanny that you pay to do it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of kids had a bond with my mom as if my mom was their mother because their parents weren't around. And I always knew as a little girl watching that I don't care how much money I made. If I had kids, I will never allow someone to have the space to have that relationship with my kids for the sake of money. But at the same time, you have to make a choice of what parent you want to be. You have to make a choice of how involved you want to be in your children's life. Because I just feel like kids who have parents who can balance work, time for themselves, and time with their kids are better, well-rounded adults later on in life. The kids who really didn't have a close relationship or bond with their parents have issues of why they have to compromise and why it can't be the way that they want it, and why do they have to share, and why do they have to let you know what they were going to do before they did it. And it's just like this snowball effect of you don't know better because nobody told you better. You don't know that what you said is going to affect this person emotionally and mentally and motivation wise because of how you said it, because no one told you that you can't say something like that because your parents wasn't around. Servers were around for you. Yes men were around for you because they work for your parents, but there are no yes men here at this job. So you have to talk to people a better way. Like, all of that snowballs into your upbringing. So parents who choose careers over spending time and quality time with their kids. And I say this, I remember being on Twitter years ago, and there was someone that was going on back and forth with me about, if I'm home with my kid, then I'm spending time with my kid. No. There's a lot of parents who are in the same household as their children, but they don't know what their children are doing in the room. They don't know what their children are doing downstairs in the kitchen. They don't know what their children are doing in the garage with the door locked. They don't know what their children are doing in the attic. They don't know what their children are doing in the backyard in the shed or what they're building. They don't know that their children are easily logging in to Amazon with a password and know they cannot buy a firearm in a gun store, but they can order the pieces to create a firearm legally on Amazon. Okay? It's a different world out here, so you have to be involved. You have to be in your kid's business. If it gets to the point where you need to take that door off the hinge, do what you need to do to figure out what your child is into. Because when it comes to a lot of those school shootings that have been on a low since this pandemic, because a lot of kids weren't going to school, their parents were in the same household as those kids while they were building and watching all of the violent stuff and having guns and plans to shoot up schools and stuff in the same house, and their parents had no clue. The kids were dealing with bullies and all of this stuff, and their parents had no clue. So you can talk about, it's a 2-parent household. The parents seem happy. I seen them go to work every day and still not know what's going on with your kid. Get involved with what's going on with your kid. It matters. It makes them better in life when both parents are involved in a consistent way and a engaging way. Not just, I'm at the house with my kid all the time. I'm a good parent. No, you need to be involved. Go in their room. What you doing? What's that? Tell me about that. What you on TikTok? What you looking at? Oh, what you watching on YouTube? Like, there's lots of things on YouTube. My kids love YouTube. They would watch that all day. My Anya has a favorite YouTuber. It's this white girl, had to be in her 20s. She wears glasses and she talks about other videos. Some of them videos are funny. Some of it is just like, you're 7, why are you watching this? You know what I'm saying? But I have to have an ear to what she's watching on her iPad or the TV. I have to have an ear to what Ari's watching. Ari was playing this game. Ari is 4. She was playing this game where this kid grows, and as the kid grows, the dad gets older. And eventually the dad got so old that the dad eventually died. Now, a 4-year-old interpreting that game, first of all, she shouldn't have been playing it. But because her dad won't put a password on her iPad to download things, she gets to download whatever she wants. So that's a whole nother thing. Like, I'm not going to argue back and forth with her dad. He got her the iPad, so you're going to deal with what happened. So what happened was, her dad had FaceTime her, and she had asked him, like, are you going to die? I don't talk to my kids about that in that way. But when they did ask me months ago, like, what happened to my dad, I said, he died. He got sick. And that's that. But because she was playing that game so much, she was now thinking about her dad, and Ari's dad does not like to talk about life insurance. He does not like to talk about, what's going to happen if you get sick. He doesn't like to talk about death. He just feels like she shouldn't have no talks about that. We don't need to talk about that. We don't need to think about that. And the reality is, you do, but you have to do it in a certain way. But I am with the fact that she shouldn't be learning that from a game. So once I told him, she learned it from a game that she deleted, crickets, because now I am right about the fact that it needs to be a password on her iPad so she doesn't download everything that she wants. And it has been nothing said since. Okay? Be realistic about how you raise your kids and be involved with your kids. I don't care what your job is. Be involved with your kids. Take time off for your kids, okay? Get in your kids' business, okay? Figure out how they're texting, what it means. There's a way to get text messages from iPhones to come directly to another phone. Figure out how it works. Go on TikTok, go on YouTube, do your Googles, and set it up if you have kids and you're paying for that bill, because these kids are getting into some things. My name is Shan. This is Cozy Womb Podcast. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. This is the podcast about parenting and being successful at parenting. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Peace. Bye.
Bye.
5, 6, 7, 8.